Welcome to the January 21st, 2008 edition of ListenToUs.com video blog, brought to you by ListenToUs.com. Haven't been around for a while, folks, and as always, my disclaimer, any sites that I mention during the video log are not, doesn't mean we endorse any or all of the content found on those sites. Okay, as I started to say, I haven't been around for a while, folks, and I'm back. Enough said. First, I want everybody to listen to something. I think it's very pertinent.
As long as we live beyond our means, we are destined to live beneath our means. And we have lived beyond our means because we are financing a foreign policy that is so extravagant and beyond what we can control, as well as the spending here at home. And we're depending on the creation of money out of thin air, which is nothing more than the debasement of the currency. It's counterfeit. And it is a natural, predictable consequence that you're going to have people benefit from it and other people suffer.
Folks, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh the other day, complaining that none of the Republican candidates are talking about the economy. None of the Republican candidates are talking about the economy. No. None of the establishment candidates are talking about the money or the economy. Why? Should be obvious. The establishment candidates are all for furthering the New World Order. And part of the agenda of the New World Order is to crash our markets. They've been devaluing the dollar for years. I heard statistics today that the Iraq war has cost $3.5 trillion. And they broke it down that that's $11,000 for every man, woman, and child that are citizens of the United States. That's $44,000 a family. That came from Ron Paul. Let me tell you something, folks. For a family of four, $44,000. My family could use that money. Okay? That's where our tax dollars are going for. It's fighting a war that we have no declaration of war in. Therefore, it's unconstitutional. I'm going to try to remain calm today. I've been reading for several hours, and just thought I'd share something with you. I Googled in the news section of Google stock market. These are the headlines from just today. Toronto stock market takes the biggest one-day plunge since the tech bubble burst 7 years ago. New Zealand and Australian markets down. Should we fear a bear market? Asian stock market indexes plunged Monday. Spanish stock market registers worst fall in 20 years. EU ministers say stock market rout. U.S. slump threatens Europe. Toronto stock market plunges almost 4%. Now, this is Googling falling market. Falling markets, what to do? Japan's minister sees no need for stock market intervention. Stock markets across the world are falling, basically, and it basically stems from the United States. It goes on and on and on and on. One day's news. Ron Paul has been talking about this for years. He goes on the debates. They pipe in laughter when he starts talking about going back to the gold standard. That's common sense. If nothing backs up the money, it's counterfeit money. It doesn't take a freaking genius to figure that out. You know, I don't get it. You know, when are Americans going to wake up? You folks out there that call yourselves conservatives, back in John McCain, who wanted to give amnesty to the illegals, who wants to tie your First Amendment rights of freedom of speech with McCain-Feingold. and you call yourselves conservatives and you're backing this man? Explain it to me. What is conservative about him? Mitt Romney? What's conservative about him? And one man gets up there and he speaks the truth about the Constitution, the very document that made us to the world power that we are today. We are doing so much damage in the global scheme of things that it's remarkable. I'm going to bounce around today because I'm a little jagged, but I find it hard to believe that nobody's listening to this man. I shouldn't say nobody. There are hundreds of thousands of us that are doing our best to get this man elected, because he's truly a hope for America, to take us back to the Constitution, get us out of occupying these other countries. Our forefathers said that we should alliance with none and trade with all. We can be friends with the entire nation. Ron Paul's been talking about that. Yet there's no conservative talking about the economy. It blows my mind. It honestly does. I don't get it. These neocons. And let me be honest with you. 8 months ago, as little as 8 months ago, you heard things. People around the cigar shop that I frequent heard things come out of my mouth, such as, Rush Limbaugh has been the most important voice in America for the last 20 years. Those were utterances of mine. Now I listen to it, and I use the discernment that God gave me. And you should too, because let me tell you something. Hannity, Limbaugh, Bortz, who calls himself a libertarian, Glenn Beck, the great one, Mark Levin. All these guys are talking about, Mitt Romney and Mike Huckabee and Rudy Giuliani, and how, being in the war is so important. And you know what? If we're truly have fear that we're going to be attacked, let's secure our borders. Why haven't we done that? We listened to this rhetoric from Bush, and we were suckered in. Are we going to be suckered in again by one of these neocons? And I voted for Bush twice. I'm ashamed to say it. I guess I didn't see what was going around me in 2004 when I voted for him a second time. I can't understand it. The very fact that nobody, either talk radio or mainstream media, is pumping this man up because of his stances on the economy, the war, Department of Education, the IRS, all these things that are gravitating to the average American. That's why they're not talking about these things, because they fear him. That in itself should tell you that he's the man to vote for. What's he at today? $1.7 million? Let's see. I changed over. It's 39,663 new donors this quarter. Donations today. So you guys out on the West Coast and Central Time Zone and the Mountain Time Zone, you guys are still donating. He's at $13,122 donated in the last 22 minutes. Okay, because this is on East Coast time. I'm sure he's about $1.8, $1.9 million.